It's time for another one-off rebuild, and today we're heading over to Turkey to rebuild Galatasaray. That's right, it's our first rebuild for a long time, maybe even ever, for a Turkish club. I think we did do Fenerbahce at some point in the past, but yes, we are managing Galatasaray here in the Turkish Super League with the hopes of trying to bring them some Champions League glory in 5 seasons at the club. With 1 Europa League win, 1 UEFA Super Cup win, and 22 Turkish Super League titles, this is a club with a lot of history and certainly one of the most reputable in their nation. And they've had a really busy transfer window, bringing in the likes of Wilf Zaha, Angelino on loan from Leipzig, and even Hakim Ziyech on loan from Chelsea. There's a lot of great players in this team. But it's been a long time since Galatasaray have won any silverware, so we'll be making the transfers, acting as a director of football almost over the next few years to try and rebuild this club. The facilities are awful, the junior coaching is awful, and the youth recruitment is awful too. So there's a lot of work to be done there, but there is certainly a lot of potential with this club. Before we get started on the video though, if you do enjoy it, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. It has a huge impact on the video's performance if you do that, because YouTube sees people watching and liking the video and think, wow, it must be a great video, and then they push it out to more people, which helps grow the channel, and I'd really appreciate that if you could show your support, take a few seconds and hit that like button. And speaking of growing the YouTube channel, you'll see a percentage of people that are watching these videos but aren't subscribed to the channel on your screen right now, and even if just a small portion of that percentage hit the subscribe button, if you're someone that isn't yet subscribed, we could see a huge increase in the subscriber numbers and maybe even get to 25k very soon. So thank you to anyone who does that. Suggest your rebuilds in the comments down below. Galatasaray was originally a suggestion, so who knows, maybe we'll rebuild your club next. And with that being said, let's get stuck right into it. We already highlighted some of the new incomings here. We've used a transfer update here that takes place around the 25th of August, I think, so there might be some transfers after that closer to the deadline day that we don't have represented in game. But we've got some great players. I mean, Mauro Icardi, whatever you might think of his career so far, he's clearly a very good player and is rated as one of our best. Former Arsenal player Lucas Torreira is also on the books, and overall I think the big issue with this squad is that the majority of the key players are, you know, in the twilight years of their career, 27, 28 and over. Obviously some of those players are in their prime, but some of them are getting a little bit older now, and like I say, it's a pretty big portion of our starting lineup are quite old now, and a lot of the younger players are just like random squad-filled Turkish players from our academy. The reason for that, by the way, and one of the reasons this rebuild won't be easy, is there's a lot of strict restrictions around foreign players in the Turkish division. So we've got to be really careful. If we bring in players that aren't Turkish, we've got to be ready to sell some other foreign players to make space for them in the squad. So there's a lot of work to be done. Our first transfer window, I don't think we can do too much with 2.7 mil. If we don't sign anyone, I'll extend the rebuild and make it a 6-year rebuild for you guys. I'm feeling nice, and financially, we got £24 million in the balance, a pretty big bit of debt as well, 200 grand or so of debt, and some decent players in our youth academy that will be looking to promote into the first team. So let's think of a tactic, let's try and make some transfers, and I'll see what I can come up with for season 1. And as I kind of predicted, it was very hard to do any business in this first window, so we will extend the rebuild. We didn't really sign anyone or sell anyone, but I'll show you the tactic we've came up with. The tactic that I'm going to go with to start off isn't a gegenpress for once. It's a vertical tiki-taka system that uses a regista, a box-to-box midfielder, 2 wing-backs in the full-back positions, a 4-3-3, which I think benefits us in terms of the players that we've got at the club, and apparently our best 11 does look like this. Obviously, it includes players that aren't here like Zaniolo, but overall, it's a decent squad. Is it world-class? Are we going to dominate the Turkish divisions? I don't think so. I think we'd be very lucky to even win the competition. I say lucky, we are favourites. I just don't feel like the squad's quite there. We have a lot of good attacking talent. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. I'm just not too sure how this is going to go, but we're going to see what happens in the first season, and then we can really kick on from there. So let's get this first season out of the way and see how we do. And I'm not too sure how to feel about this season just yet. The Turkish Cup, we got to the quarterfinals, knocked out by Fenerbahce. That is disappointing. The Champions League, I'd argue this is a good result. Getting to the knockout stages, being knocked out by a good club in Real Madrid. We'll check more out about the Champions League in a minute, but that seems like a good performance for a team like us at this stage. And then the Turkish Super League, we didn't win the title. Fenerbahce have won it. They got 85 points, we got 78. We lost 1 more game than them, drew 2 more, and that ended up being the difference. Alanyaspor was a team that was very close to us as well, finishing only a point behind us. Besiktas a bit further away. But yeah, I'm not too sure how we feel about this right now. Is that a good first season? Probably not. Do we want to do better? Of course, but the Champions League round of 16 Does seem like a pretty good position for us to be in. How did we do in the groups? Let's take a look. We came second in a group with Marseille, Salzburg and Sevilla. Okay, not the hardest group in the world. Maybe one of the most favourable groups in the competition. Maybe that's why we made it through. Either way though, 10 points, a good result. Round of 16, Real Madrid knock us out. Was it convincing? They beat us 1-0 in our home leg and then 5-1 away from home. So yes, 6-1 on aggregate. Not the best. And it's a first season that we're just going to try and kind of move on from, I think. Not too much going on. We've got £22 million to spend, though. Before we get on to all the transfers and whatnot, let's see who were our best performers. We've got Mauro Icardi with 39 goals, looking like a brilliant goal scorer at this level. So we're very happy to have him. Also, when we got suggested to rebuild Galatasaray, I was told the fans love Icardi and they'd be really sad if I sold him. So I'm going to try and hold on to him as long as I can in this rebuild. Ziyech getting 11 goals. Obviously, he'll be going back to Chelsea. Angelino probably going to go back to Leipzig. I'm not sure we can afford to keep all of these players around. Oliveira, 19 goals in 49 appearances. Fair play to him. The Portuguese midfielder might be old, but he's still chipping in with the goals and the assists. Zaniolo, 24 goals in 33 for Aston Villa. I'm pretty certain they're going to activate that £19 million fee, so we'll have to say goodbye to him, I would have thought. But a good first year. Let's start getting some transfers in, and it's going to be a completely new look squad, I imagine, at the start of Season 2. We'll start off with the outgoings. There's some players at this club that were on heavy wages that didn't really get used much last year. Cedric Bakambu was one of them. Galatasaray only signed him recently, but he only started one match for his last season, came off the bench twice. We've sold him for £600,000 to Sochi. Patrick van Aanholt goes to his home country of the Netherlands to join FC Utrecht. We've sold him for £500,000 after a season out on loan at PSV, where he played 0 times. Another Congolese player leaving the club is Loyan Dame here, a defender that was bought in from Standard Liège a while back, but he didn't play last year for us at all, so he's gone to PAOK out in Greece for £325,000. The big sales in terms of getting the wages off a book though were Dries Mertens, who goes to Belgium to play for Anderlecht. We got him from Napoli on a free, but he's just on heavy wages, didn't play too much, started one game. He's very old, let's get him gone and get that wage bill free. And Fernando Muslera has left the club to go be a backup at Fulham. We've had the Uruguayan hero at Galatasaray for so long, but he had 1 year left on his contract. He was old, he was on pretty high wages as well, and I felt like this was the time to let him go and bring in our own goalkeeper. And that's what we did. We went over to FC Copenhagen out in Denmark and took their Polish goalkeeper, Kamil Grabara. He's 24 years of age, got 4 caps for Poland already, and looks like he could be a good goalkeeper for us. He was originally at Liverpool at one point, bounced around the divisions, ended up in Denmark. A decent season for Copenhagen last year. Our scouts raved about him. If you don't know, we only go for players that our scouts recommend in these videos, and Grabara was one of the best that we had in that goalkeeping position. A tall goalkeeper, 6'5", good aerial reach and reflexes. Hopefully this will work out and he can become a real good keeper for us in the Turkish leagues. Oh, and by the way, if I didn't mention, it's 5 million that could eventually rise to 5.25. With Angelino not signing on for the season, we decided we wanted a new left back. We didn't have a huge amount of money to spend, and as mentioned, we had to sell foreign players to bring foreign players in, so I had to be careful, but we have bought in a Zimbabwean left back by the name of Jordan Zamora. He's 23 years of age. He was originally playing for Charlton, moved to Bournemouth, then to Udinese, where after a great season in Serie A, our scouts raved. We picked him up for 5 million. He is a quick fullback who likes to go forward and can defend pretty well too. Looks like he's already came in as our best left back option, so we're happy to have him on board. But then the big signing, and I think a real coup for this club, is signing Jean-Claire Todibo from Nice out in the French divisions. 23 years of age, a great ball-playing centre-back. When it looked like Harry Maguire was leaving Manchester United in real life, Todibo was linked quite heavily. Obviously, they've ended up with Johnny Evans instead, but that did mean that he was still at Nice in this transfer update for us. We were able to bring him in for £16.5 million, and he's going to come in as one of the best defenders in the Turkish division, almost certainly. And that's our transfer business done for now, and our team is starting to come together a little bit. We've got Grabara in goal, who is of course our goalkeeper. Leo Dubois is at right back, the 28-year-old Frenchman, an international as well for his nation. 2 good centre-backs in Todibo, who we know, and the Danish 24-year-old Victor Nelson. I believe he might also be our captain or vice-captain. If not, he will be in the future, I'm sure. But 24 years of age, a big, powerful centre-back. Zamora at left-back. You can really see we've focused in on these defensive positions and lowering the age of the squad. Torreira and Oliveira, that kind of rhymes. With Zaniolo, Zaha and Icardi, you might think, Jake, have you got Zaniolo back? Well, Pretty simple, Villa just did not take that fee. Now, he's not happy to be here by any stretch. I mean, once he came back, we had a lot of offers from Barca, Juventus I think was another one, and they were offering really low fees of like 11 million. I said no. Zaniolo then got upset, so I said to him, look, you can go if they reach this fee. The fee we agreed on was 21 mil, so if they're willing to pay that, he might still leave us, but after a good season for Villa, I really did think he'd get snatched away from us. He hasn't been, he's still here at the club, and I think he could be a real gem for us this year, and kind of can take up Ziyech's position in that inverted winger spot. All the facilities and whatnot are still awful, but we are slowly upgrading the staff situation. You can see that's looking very good now, and we're also trying to work on the debt at the club, but our team is ready for season 2. We've started making our transfers, and hopefully that will lead to some better results on the pitch. I said I wanted to see some better results on the pitch. We certainly did not get that. We're going to break down the season now, but it was not a good one, guys. Turkish Cup, semi-final exit to Fenerbahce. Europa Conference League we were in, of all things. Let's see how we started in there. We didn't end up making it too far in the competition. We won the group stage comfortably with Panathinaikos, Rapid Vienna and Sion. That took us into the round of 16, where we beat Dinamo to go through into the quarterfinals, where AIK knocked us out 1-0, and that could have been a competition we could have gone all the way to win. In the end, Fulham beat Inter Milan to win the competition, but yeah, disappointing in the Conference League, but even more disappointing, we finished 3rd in the league this year round. 74 points is not good enough for us. 86 points was what Fenerbahce got to win the league. Besiktas finishing above us too. Just very disappointing. They only lost 2 games all season, Fenerbahce. And this rebuild hasn't got off to the best start at all. We really need to kick on in the coming seasons. Zaniolo was one of our better players with 18 goals and 36. It was nice to see him coming into our team and doing well. Icardi scored 35 this year. Oliveira still doing well, as did Zaha, and Zamora coming in and having a great first season for us at left back, so that's good at least. Some of our signings are paying off. Todibo as well, looking very good. Grabara had a decent year in the net as well, but overall just not good enough. It doesn't look like anyone's played particularly poorly, but we're just not as good as some of the other clubs in our division, so we need to really sort that out. There's a big issue though, and that is our transfer budget. We've been given 11 million and 56 grand in the wage budget, fine, but our finances are not looking good. I mean, they've given us money to spend, but we've actually got a negative balance of 6 million, and the debts and loans haven't gone down at all, so I don't really know where we've lost all of this cash. It's very worrying, and I don't see how the situation's going to get much better. We're going to have to make some big sales. Yes, I can use this 11 million, but it's going to really leave us in a lurch going forward, so if we do spend that money, we need to make sure we get results, get Champions League spots, and get the money in that way. So a lot is going to rely on this season-free transfer window. And I've decided to go for a pretty big clear out of the squad, not necessarily getting huge fees in, but knocking off some of them older players who were taking up a lot of wages on the books. The first one is Wilf Zaha. After 2 decent years for us, particularly last year, looking very good, he has gone to Nottingham Forest for 2.9 million. Some of these transfers might not seem like a good idea, but I think overall our squad is moving in the right direction, so bear with before you judge us too much. Let's see who we bought in, but first we'll carry on with the sales. Kerem Atakoglu here has gone to Granada for 2.2 million, been at Galatasaray for a while, was really good for us last year, a bit part squad player he was for us. He now goes to be an important player at Granada, and we get some cash in. A lot of these steals were taken out of our hands with players whose contracts were expiring soon, but either way, Atakoglu has left. Alexandru Sisaldau, a Romanian central midfielder, by the way, my pronunciations have been awful in this video, I'm sure. They're probably only going to get worse, but he has left us to join Cruz Azul out in the Mexican divisions for just under 1 mil. Leo Dubois has left us as well. The right back has gone to Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga for 600k. Last season he only started 7 games. Sasha Bowie at right back has been playing more. We'll have a look at him in a second, but yes, no room for Leo Dubois on huge wages, so he has gone to Werder Bremen. Kerem Demirbay has gone to Antwerp in the Belgian leagues. He's left for 2.4 million, having signed from Bayer Leverkusen and then not really played too much since he's joined us. Similar situation for Fredrik Mitchlow here, who has gone to Antwerp as well. The Norwegian midfielder, 30 years of age here, came in from AZ Alkmaar, didn't play much last year at all, so he's left too. And then we get to the incomings, where I think we've done a very good job. Firstly, we have signed Ali Akman here, a backup striker for Icardi, a Turkish national as well, playing for the national team. I think he's going to be a great player. We signed him for about £5 million from the MLS and loaned him straight back out there for the season. Hopefully it will work quite well. As Icardi gets older, Akman can come in, kind of take his place. I feel like that's the way we're going to go with it, but he's a decent striker, a good squad option who's going to be good for us long term at only the age of 22. Leo Dubois is replaced replaced at right back by Elias Jalert here from FC Porto, a Danish 21-year-old, much younger than Dubois, on way less wages too. £4 million is a good deal, in my opinion. He's got a big future ahead of him, I'm sure, and at right back he'll be competing with Sacha Boey, who's been at the club for a while, came in from Rennes and then Dijon out in the French divisions, played a lot last year and did fairly well, so we were comfortable in letting Dubois go. A new midfielder by the name of Mohamed Ali Ben Romdane has came in here, a Tunisian midfielder, 24 years of age, good depth option at the club, who will hopefully play a lot this year. He's came in from Ferencváros out in the Hungarian divisions, having played in Tunisia for a while. He was brilliant in Hungary, looks a phenomenal player, and for $2 million I think he's an absolute bargain. The signing of the summer, I think though, has got to be Mohamed Diomande, 22-year-old Ivory Coast international, signed from FC Nordsjælland for only £4 million after a great season there last time out. He can play central midfield, he can play attacking midfield on the left or even up front. Great ability, lots of potential as well, comes in as one of the best players in this team at only the age of 22 for such a cheap fee as well. I think this is a real bargain deal for us. And finally, we spent just over $7.5 million on 21-year-old Dutchman Myron van Bredrode. I don't know if I pronounced that one right, but he is going to be an option on both wings, up front, and at the age of 21 has a lot of ability as well. Direct, quick, can finish well, and can dribble. Joins us from AZ Alkmaar, having played quite a lot of football for them last year, mainly off the bench, but we see the future with this man. I'm hoping he can be our inside forward long term. I feel like he's got a great bit of potential too. I feel like we are lowering the age of this squad as the time goes by, which is good to see, and our best 11 is now Grabara in goal with Boey, Todibo, Nelson and Zamora at the back. Oliveira and Torreira make up the midfield with Tete at right wing. If you haven't noticed him yet, he was great last season for us and a real threat on that right hand side. We've got Diomande on the left apparently, Zaniolo through the middle and Icardi up top. You might see we have changed formation. I've gone for something a little bit more like I'm used to, a gegenpress system, plus we had so many options in this number 10 spot and not too many in this deep line playmaker role that I thought, you know what, let's change it so we have an attacking midfielder and we don't waste games sitting back. When we've got so much attacking talent, particularly in the Turkish divisions, we should go for it, and this is the team that we've got now. Financially though, we're in a bit of a pickle. We're in a negative balance now of 21 million, and I don't see any way that we're going to get that money back unless we get in the Champions League this year. So we need a really good run in all of our competitions. We need to win the Turkish Super League, else we are going to struggle and get no money next year. So fingers crossed, season 3 can go well. And it's gone far better than I could have possibly anticipated. We have not just won 1 trophy, we've not won 2, we have won 3, including somehow a Europa League title. We're going to get onto that one in a second, but the Turkish Cup is ours, having beat Konyaspor in the final 3-1. Galatasaray take the Turkish Cup home, as well as the Super League title, finishing 1 point ahead of Fenerbahce. We got nowhere near the amount of points that was required to win the league last season, but it was enough this year. 67 goal difference too, only 4 losses, a dominant performance in the league. And then the Europa League, I have no idea, because I thought it said last year we were going to be in the Conference League this year, so I have no idea how we were even in the Europa. We're going to have a look now to see how we got there. We didn't have to qualify, so we must have been straight in. We did have to play a playoff match, and then we've gone on to win the competition, which is a great result. We went into the league phase where we finished in the 4th position, so clearly one of the better teams in the Europa League. Manchester United were the best, apparently. Villa and Monaco were up there. We then go into the round of 16, knock out Dinamo 5-4 on aggregate, so really riding our luck. Quarterfinals, we take out Fulham 5-3 with a 4-0 win at Craven Cottage. Then we go to the semi-finals, beat Monaco 3-2 on aggregate, and then beat Man U 2-0 in the final. A great result there. And it was Diomande and Oliveira who got us the goals against the English side. We've done very well to win the competition, and that is going to be a huge, huge increase to our finances. I would have thought. Apparently not though. We've still got a negative balance, actually way more than we had before. What are we spending money on? I mean, we've not cleared any for debts or loans. Transfer-wise, £3 million to spend. This is not going to get any easier. How we're possibly going to make this team a Champions League team, I don't know. We will get the UCL money in at some point soon, but will that sort out our finances? I really am not sure. This is not looking good. We have had a few issues as well with trying to get players registered. It's been a bit of a struggle actually, trying to make sure we've got the right amount of foreign players in the team, but we're making it work. Icardi with a great season, 66 goals in 60 games. Todibo doing great as well. Diomande, a brilliant year, and Tete too, 21 goals for him. Bredrode as well, got 16 goals in all competitions. Yusuf Demir, who I haven't shown too much yet, the young Austrian, has been doing well for us too. He was on loan at Basel at one point, came back, didn't play much, but he has got a bit more game time this year Either way though, things are on the up. We won 3 competitions this year. We just need to figure out this financial situation because, I mean, the current state, we can't even improve the facilities we have. We apparently have 0 youth facilities. I assume because of our finances, we're not even able to pay for a youth facility, which is crazy stuff. I've never seen anything like it in a rebuild. Trying to figure it out financially, what's going on. We've not got a super high team in terms of wages either. A few high earners, but we actually had more high earners when we originally started. Go and try and figure it out. Season 4 transfer window. It's a bittersweet one here. We're doing well, but is the club going to succeed financially long term? It's very much up in the air. Okay, just to pre-warn you, the season 4 transfer window, we've had to make some cuts to the team. Obviously, we were in a terrible financial position and we wanted to make that better. So we've actually sold £60 million worth of talent and only spent 20 million. So fingers crossed everything works out. Firstly, Sergio Oliveira here, a brilliant player for us, has left the club, 1.6 million to go to Sporting Club de Portugal. Berkan Kutlu here has joined Udinese, 27-year-old Turkish midfielder, played a lot for us last year, has gone to Italy for 3.5 million. Kaan Ayhan, a 30-year-old Turkish centre-back / right-back option, has gone to Strasbourg for 3.5 mil. Again, someone else that played a lot of games last year, starting 26 matches, so that's going to be a big loss. We only signed him last year for 2 million, but we've sold him on straight away. Mohamed Ali Ben Romdan didn't play too much last year at all, clearly not rated by the assistant manager when we were holidaying, so he's gone to Shakhtar for 3.5 mil. Hamza Akman, a young central midfielder, he's gone to Porto for 4 million that could eventually rise into 4.5. We got a lot of press conference stuff about, oh, you've sold a really promising talent. I'm not so sure. I mean, he's 20, not good enough for the first team yet, so he's never going to get that game time, never going to develop. Maybe he is promising still in terms of potential, but I don't think he'll develop at Porto either, so I'll take that £4 million and shove that into the bank. We only signed him a few years ago for 5 million, but Jordan Zamora has left us. He's gone to Genoa for 4 million that could eventually become 4.5. We don't lose too much money. He started 10 games last year, less than before, and we have signed some left backs to take his place. But the big sales though are the next 3. Lucas Torreira, the Uruguayan, leaves the club to join Ajax for 7.5 mil. Didn't play as much for us last year, but still a very key member of the squad to lose. But look, it's wages off the books, it's money in, and it helps the club financially long term. This one taken out of my hands, I didn't want to sell him, but Victor Nelson had a release clause of 8.5 million in his contract. I didn't put it there. I don't think I negotiated his contract either, so unless I accidentally gave it to him somehow, this must be the contract that he originally has. But he has left us, joined Inter Milan, 8.5 mil, a big loss for the club. He was a leader as well. But we've got to work with the situation we're in, so we have to say goodbye to Victor Nelson. And Zaniolo has left the club too. He does make us a lovely fee of 25 million. That was way more than I thought we'd get for him. It seems in the Turkish divisions, no one's willing to offer you any real money. Todibo, a world-class centre-back, we've had offers for like 8 million, 10 million for him. It's a joke. But either way, Atletico Madrid came in for 25 mil for Zaniolo. Worth way more than that now, as you can see, but we've got to take what we get given. And Zaniolo wanted to leave, would be unsettled if we didn't. We agreed 25 mil. He goes, it's cash in, it's wages freed up, and with that money brought in, £60 million, we've then spent 20 million on players. But I think the business has been really good. I think maybe our team is at the same level, not necessarily improved, but at the same level with all that money sold, and we've brought in younger players too. Adrian Truffert is our new left back, having signed from Rennes for only 3 million. He's got potential, he's got ability, and he's a great player at the age of 23. Robert Lujubic here comes in from the Croatian divisions, joins us from Dinamo Zagreb. He can play a variety of positions, has been playing really well for them since signing, 4 great seasons for them now. Can play midfield at a very good level, already our best midfielder, can play left back if needed, works very hard, good physical attributes, a very nice signing for only 3.5 million. Tommy Doyle, former Manchester City player, joins us on a free 23-year-old Englishman, good midfield ability, kind of takes up Sergio Oliveira's role, has been to Girona on loan and now is here at our club, and I think that's good business for free, valued at 10 million. We can make a profit later down the line. Jamal Lewis comes in as our new backup left back, Northern Irish, 27-year-old, joins us from Newcastle, having left them on a free, but then I realised we didn't have a squad place for him, so he's been loaned out to Stade Rennes for the season. My plan, bring him in for free, loan him out next season. If he's good, we use him. If not, we sell him and make a profit on what was a free transfer. We've bought in Gökdeniz Gürpaz, a Turkish central midfielder on loan. He helps us with registration rules and helps fill the squad out. A player that's got ability but also doesn't need to be registered because he is young and Turkish. So he comes in from Dortmund on loan, and maybe we'll sign him in the future if all goes well. A lot of technical ability there for sure. And with the Victor Nelson money, we've signed 2 centre-backs. The first one is Gambian 23-year-old James Gomez, signs from Sparta Prague, a brilliant player, having came from the Danish divisions, looking very good there, did well at Prague as well. 6.5 million for a very physical centre-back, quick, strong, good in the air. He's hopefully going to lead the line next to Todibo for us. But he will have competition from Russian centre-back Igor Deviv, who joins us from CSKA Moscow. Just over £8 million for him, closer to 9 really. A physical presence, 6'4", good in the air, and hopefully that adds to our centre-back depth with Todibo, Deviv and Gomez. Our best 11 now, with all of those transfers bought in, does look like this. So it's going to be Grabara in goal, who's only getting better now at the age of 26 caps for Poland as well. Scheller, Gomez, Todibo, Trufa, Tommy Doyle, Jubasic, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all, Tete, Diamonde, Yilmaz and Icardi. Yilmaz, I don't really know too much about him, but he's been around us for a while, looks like he's transfer listed. I don't necessarily think he is the best player there. I think that's more likely to be Yusuf Demir or Van Bredrode there. But either way, the squad's coming together nicely. Ali Akman is back from his loan out in the MLS. Hopefully he can score some goals for us. We'll see if this team can do as well as we did last year. I really doubt it, but financially we're in a much better position. £6 million in the bank. Hopefully going forward things will go well. We still have a lot of money in the transfer budget, but I don't want to spend it on players that we can't bring in. Our registration slots are full as well, so we're going to leave things as they are. We'll upgrade the facilities or something instead, and hopefully season 4 can go well. We've still got 2 more seasons after this though. And after that transfer window, you know what? This has been a season I couldn't have imagined. We sold so many key players in the team, replaced them with younger heads, but we win the Turkish Super Cup, we win the Turkish Cup, we win the UEFA Super Cup, beating Barcelona 3-1 in the final there. We get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, only just knocked out by Arsenal. I say only just, we lost 5-2, but still, we managed to knock out Valencia in penalties to get to the quarterfinals of the UCL and the Turkish Super League. We get more points than we've ever had before, 87 points, 3 losses, 3 draws, and we bring the title back to Galatasaray yet again. That was a great season for us. Facilities-wise, you can see we are improving things slowly. We do have youth facilities now, but we're going to need to improve them over time. Our reputation has gone up a little bit too. Delighted with this season, really, considering the situation we were in. It's all gone very well. We've got £19 million in the balance, 20 mil to spend next summer. Things are looking a lot better. In terms of our best performers, of course, it's going to be Icardi, isn't it? I'm sure. Yes, it is. 52 goals in 51 appearances. His contract is running out at the end of the season, and at 33, it looks like he's going to be moving on. But he's been a brilliant servant for us. It's just time that we replace him, get ahead of the curve, and plus he wants pretty huge wages for a player who's pretty old now at this point. Todibo having a great year. Diamonde getting better and better for us, becoming an elite talent really, wanted by PSG. You can see why, some incredible attributes there. I've never seen him be this good really, which is great to see. Diamonde, Zizou as well, a player that I didn't actually show you that we signed. The reason for that is we agreed to approach to sign him at the end of his contract, but when you saw us, he hadn't yet joined us. He joined us from the Egyptian divisions, had a great year for us by the looks of it. Just a depth option on the wings really, can play either side at the age of 30. Maybe we sell him on for a profit next summer, who knows, but a good first year for us. Yilmaz doing well as well. Our curly-haired midfielder Robert, whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce again, also had a good season, so that's a great 4th year. We've still got 2 more seasons after this though, so let's see who we can bring in to help this team in season 5. Before we take a look at the transfers though, don't forget to like the video if you are enjoying up to this point, subscribe if you haven't already. You're all absolute legends and I really appreciate the support on the channel. We hit 23k subs the other day and 25k subs looks like it's within reach, so thank you so much for that. But we'll start off with the sales. Firstly, we did some great business, bringing in Jamal Lewis on a free, loaning him out to Rennes, and they decided they wanted him, so £4.7 million richer for us. Igor Deviv didn't really work out last year, didn't play too much at all, only 9 games, 1 start. We've sold him back to Russia, to Spartak Moscow, to the other side of the capital. We lose £2 million on him. Look, let's just forget it happened and get him out the door. Zizou did leave the club, as we said. We bought him in for a free, did well for us, sold him on for a £2.8 million profit. Seems to be the way that we can actually bring in cash over here in the Turkish leagues. And speaking of bringing in cash, we have let go Robert in the midfield. A 27-year-old Croatian, had a good year for us. Not the world's best, but a decent year. But we've sold him for double the money we paid for him to the United Arab Emirates. He's playing for Shabab Al Ali there. We take the money and we reinvest it. Firstly, bringing in Gokendis Gerpuz, who was on loan with us last season. He joins us on a free. His contract was up at Dortmund. He actually played played really well for us last year when he had the chance. So the young 20-year-old comes into our team now. We bring in Cesare Casade on a free from Chelsea. This man is always available on a free. The scouts always rave about him. And whilst I don't like signing the same players in every rebuild, if Casade is free, you've got to pick him up. I mean, he's a brilliant central midfielder, comes in as one of our best already. And then our only other signing, we used pretty much the rest of our budget, £20 million to bring in Alberto Melero here from Las Palmas in the second division of Spain. 27.5 million was the actual fee, his release clause, but he comes in as one of the best players, if not the best player at the club. He's going to get Spain international appearances, I am sure. This man is an absolute gem. But actually, there was one other signing that I did forget to mention because he joined us technically at the end of the last window. We have signed Armando Broja from Chelsea, 24 years of age. The Albanian goal scorer has joined us to replace Icardi as our new man up front. £12.5 million for him. He played a little bit for Chelsea, scored a few goals when given the opportunity, but obviously never really going to work out at a club like that. So we've been able to sign him. The Albanian comes in as our new forward leading the line, and now our best 11 looks like this, and I'm a big fan of this now. It's pretty much all of our players. Grabara in goal, Sasha Bowie, James Gomez, Todibo and Trufer, with Tommy Doyle, Casade, Tete, Diamonde, Melero and Broja. This team looks phenomenal at this point, and we've also lowered the age of the squad. If we have a look, we haven't got too many old players at the team at all, and we've got a lot of players with potential too. Dev Centre, no one coming through because we did have none of those players coming from the youth academy, so we need to figure that one out. Hopefully we can sort that out sooner rather than later. But we have got a lot of money in the bank now, 20 million in the balance. The debts and loans we're starting to clear slowly, and we're trying to upgrade the facilities as we go. But we're in a better position now. Let's see how we get on in season 5. And whatever happens in the final season coming up, I'm definitely classing this rebuild as a success. We win the Europa League, we've won the Turkish Cup 3 times now, the Turkish Super Cup twice, the UEFA Super Cup once, we've won the Turkish title on a few occasions now, 90 points. Even Fenerbahce's 82 points was not enough for them. We got 90 goal difference as well, an unbelievable season. And the Champions League, we got to the round of 16, again being knocked out by a good team in Real Madrid. We finished 4th as well in the league phase, a great performance there, only losing 2 matches to Arsenal and Bayern, beating some decent teams on the way. The club is definitely taking upward steps now and getting better and better, which is great to see. And speaking of getting better and better, we lost Icardi up front. We thought we were going to lose a lot of goals, but Broja stepped up and had a phenomenal season, 32 goals in 32 league appearances and 46 goals in all comps. Diamonde as well, having a great year for us in that midfield spot. Tommy Doyle, now capped for England in the midfield, had a great year for us. First year, he settled in nicely, but second year, he's really kicked on. 13 assists and 6 goals in 22 starts for him. Yusuf Demir as well, doing great. Casade, Todibo, this team is doing phenomenally well. You will see a player is missing here. Whilst we holidayed ahead, we did have a player stolen off of us, and that was Tete, who had a release clause in his contract of 12 million, which after a great start to the year, Liverpool activated. He was one of the best players in the league, if not the best. Liverpool saw the release clause, paid it, and we have lost Tete, so we're going to need to reinvest that. But things are definitely looking a lot better at the club now. But you can see we've upgraded the facilities a little bit. Things are getting better in that sense, and financially, we've got £32 million in the balance, 45 million quid to spend. We're going to go for a blast of a summer to finish off. 1 season left. Let's see what we can do in the transfer window to finish off rebuilding Galatasaray. The only real notable sale of this window was Myron van Bredrode here. Never quite worked out for him. He's now gone to Vitesse Arnhem out in the Eredivisie for 750,000. We lose about £7 million on him, but he did contribute well over the years. It just wasn't really working out anymore, so he has left the club. And now these transfers are either going to be super controversial or like amazingly positive. We'll see what you guys think. Firstly, one controversial transfer. Wilfried Gnonto joins us on a free from Leeds. Now Leeds and Galatasaray don't get on too well, if I remember correctly. I don't quite remember the story or the reason why, but I feel like there is a rivalry there. Either way, Gnonto, 23 years of age, great backup striker, can play in a few positions as well, and to get him on a free is an amazing deal. We also bring in this young Turkish player, Emre Yilmaz, on a free as well. We spent £2 million bringing in a Turkish centre-back. We needed some depth in that position, but also needed to register someone. There was no space for a foreign player. The best Turkish centre-back on the market that was available at a decent price was this man. Adil Demir bagged £2 million from Adana out in the top division of Turkey. We'll take him. He'll help us in the team, even if he doesn't play that much. But the best signing of all, in my opinion, but potentially controversial, is Arda Güler. Now, he, of course, made his name at Fenerbahce, moved to Real Madrid, over there, never really got the chance. We've bought him in for 13.5 million. Tried to sign him last summer. He had no interest in joining us, but this year, he was willing to consider it. We've bought him in, a brilliant young young player with a lot of potential. Hopefully the star of Turkey's national team, or at least the potential star of the national team, will be a star for our Galatasaray side. And now, our best 11. When we started this rebuild, who would have thought it would have looked this good? Grabara, Bowie, Gomez, Todibo, Trufer, Tommy Doyle, Cassidy, Demir, Diamonde, Malero and Broja. That forward line is insane. A phenomenal lineup. The club is on the way up financially. We've still got £43 million in the bank, which is great to see. Things are getting way better and the facilities are improving too. We're starting to get them youth facilities back. Let's see what we can do in our 6th and final season. I was going to say 5th then, but we did give you an extra season here. So let's see how it goes. Can we win the Champions League? And I'm really not sure how to feel about this. I feel like it's got to be a positive. We have lost the league title, unfortunately. Finishing on 79 points, not good enough. Trabzonspor take the title on 82 points. We get knocked out of the Turkish Cup. We win the Turkish Super Cup. But it can be forgiven because the Champions League, we were so close. We lost the final. Let's see what happened. We lost to Chelsea 2-1. Very, very unfortunate. Let's take a look at our run there. We did actually win a lot of league games towards the end of the season. We must have just started bad. Diamonde scored in the 48th, but Gonzalez and Evan Nilsson gave Chelsea the win. We knocked out Liverpool to get to the final. Arda Güler and Malero scoring there. We knocked out City as well. And PSG. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I feel like Chelsea might have been the easiest match of all of them, but we did end up losing. Very unfortunate in that sense, but look, what more can you say? We've taken this team to a Europa League win, multiple league titles, multiple Turkish Cups, Champions League making the knockouts most years, and that Europa League win, of course, was the main one for us. A Champions League final, if we kept going here, I'm sure we'd do very well. We've got rid of about £25 million worth of debt as well. We've finally got some young players coming out of the academy that might be okay, and in terms of the facilities, junior coaching's at a 20, training facilities, youth recruitment and youth facilities need a lot of work, but we'll get there eventually. Another brilliant year from Broja, Diamonde, Todibo, Cassidy, Akman even getting some goals. It's the usual suspects, Arda Güler as well, having a great first year. But there we go. That is our Galatasaray rebuild complete. This has taken a long while to record, so if you did enjoy it, smash the like button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.